Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is a very, very special episode of our podcast. I'm sitting down again. I'm Kevin, of course, and I'm sitting down again with Chris and Thomas, and we are going to be telling you guys how to save your own financial lives. We're looking out for you on this one. This one is kind of like Chapter 14 in ManQ, uh, but more or less, we just wanted to tell you guys a little bit of personal finance advice. Um, so my big personal finance advice, more so than anything anyone can tell you, start your savings journey as early as possible. If you can start at 18, do. There's really no reason, and this is going to sound crazy, but I promise you it's true. There's really no reason that anyone in this class should not be a millionaire when they retire. Like, if you're making your right investment choices and you're starting young, like that's a totally achievable goal, even on a pretty reasonable, like pretty meager salary. That's an achievable goal, right? If you start young enough. And all of that is coming from a wonderful thing called compounding interest. Basically, the idea is if you get a 5% rate of return on the first year, you only get return on your original investment. But in the second year, you get returns on your returns. And when that starts to really snowball, that's where really really wealthy people are born.
It is surprising how fast that kicks in. Like it kicks in really quickly.
Yeah. So you would, I mean, you would think it would take a few years for returns on returns to be like a significant portion of your portfolio, but it's not true, right? Like within 10 years, that's, going to be a significant percentage.
Yep.
Like big, big, big chunk is just going to be money that you've made on money that you've already made, which is awesome. So, highly suggest you start young. If you haven't already taken a personal finance class, like the entry level 100 level class, or maybe even retirement advising, whatever class you are interested in, would be worth checking out for sure sometime during your degree here. Um, but yeah, starting a retirement account early, I've heard that the best way to do that is probably like Roth IRA kind of thing, but you would have to talk more with your personal financiers, your CFAs, CFPs, CPAs, all those folks with their various letters. They know lots of stuff.
Yeah, I just started by putting my money in a bank.
Well, the
um,
other thing too is a lot of jobs, right? If you open a retirement account, 401k with your job, sometimes your job will match
right,
what you
up to
put
a
in.
certain
Yeah,
percentage,
to
right?
some,
Yeah.
yeah. So you should definitely take advantage of that. So if you put $100 in your 401k and the company kicks in another $100,
You should always match the
yeah, yeah.
percentage that they're giving you at least. I mean,
Max that out.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
take full
sure.
advantage of programs like that at the companies you work for, and find out what those programs are. Like when you start taking on your real jobs, like as adults, find out what are your insurance benefits, what are your retirement benefits with the company that you work for. Those are things. If you don't know what they are, you are leaving things that they are paying you on the table.
Because
Like
that comes out of your salary.
right,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So if you're going to have those benefits, you definitely want to take advantage of them because that's part of your pay, for sure. That's part of what you're working for. Yeah. And I know some of you guys are probably going to want to play stocks because the stocks are glamorous. They're sexy. They're the buy low, sell high, all that jazz. And if you are going to do that, take a page out of ManQ and diversify. You got to diversify. Thomas,
What does
you,
it mean to diversify?
well, that's a great question. Well, diversifying is when you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You take some of your money and you put it in one company, and you take some of your money and you put it in another company. And the benefit of that is that if one of those companies fail, you don't lose all your money. So I think the book puts it as it minimizes your firm specific risk or the risk that you take on by investing in one individual company like Apple. Well, if I invest in the whole market, if I buy just one share of like the S&P 500 or whatever, instead of buying a share of one individual company, then I don't have to, I still have to deal with market risk. So if there's a recession, I could still lose money, but I get to take advantage of not having to deal with firm-specific risk, right?
Right. And I think the most interesting points I've heard made about diversification, I'm pretty sure Chris made them. It was about if you want to like really diversify, and let's say you work in America, then you shouldn't be investing super heavily in like only American companies that are super closely tied to your income, to where let's say you get laid off and you're heavily invested in Apple, then there's a very good chance they're not going to be doing super well, but if there's a massive recession in America.
Yeah, you want to invest in like companies that don't do what you do.
Right.
So if you work for Ford, right, you build cars, you don't want to invest in other car companies, because if something happens to Ford, probably it's going to happen to General Motors and Chrysler as well. So you don't want all your savings are going to be wiped out, your income's going to be wiped out, and your savings are going to be wiped out. That's not a good idea. If you work for a car company, you should probably invest in a sector that behaves in a way that's kind of opposite to car companies. So maybe like oil companies, because when the oil companies are doing well, it's because gas prices are high. That's bad for car companies. So you might lose your job, but at least your stocks will do well. So it kind of balances out the risk a little bit. And you made a great point about Apple. One of the risks of investing just in one company, right, is you are beholden to any kind of odd thing that only happens to that company. So like when Steve Jobs died, that was a terrible thing to have happen to Apple, because everyone thought that Steve Jobs was a genius and the only reason Apple was successful is because of Steve Jobs' genius. Well, now you don't have Steve Jobs anymore. What does Apple bring to the table? No, it's turned out okay for them, but you didn't know that at the time.
So did you see Apple stocks crash when
Steve
Jobs
died?
died?
That Steve Jobs was about to die. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I guess I'm not surprised by that, but yeah. So start young, diversify, take advantage of the benefits that your companies give you for things like retirement planning. I know at my dad's work, they actually offer free financial planning services. So they'll pay for you to go talk to a retirement advisor if you want.
Yeah, Western does that too. It's great. The guy's like I shouldn't say what his name is for public consumption, but he definitely gives you that. He's like a real slick kind of Wall Street kind of guy. You really feel like you're in good hands. Like there's no way they're taking that money and doing anything untoward with it at all.
It is unheard of. So.
Yeah, don't get tricked. Yeah, watch out for those tricksters out there, the Bernie Madoffs of the world.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Like, don't just invest with someone who's got things that, it's easy. You just give me $1,000, guarantee I'll get you 10% returns, 15% returns. That doesn't exist.
All right. Well, there's your basic financial advice from a handful of economists over a few moments. So there's that for you. Take it with you into the rest of your life. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys.